Well, I found the water line. I've uncovered it for 20 feet. Haven't broken it yet, but it's not dark yet. But if we do not break it, we should have the driveway cut in half and get the sewer line pretty well tied in. I don't know, maybe by sundown, which means tomorrow we'll get to start putting some pipe in the main trench. So I have a dim recollection of helping Dad put that 4-inch steel sleeve around the water line. Like I say, it's a dim recollection, but I know there was some steel in there, and I know we found it, and so I'm going to go ahead and run that across, bisect this driveway, and then come on around with the sewer line. This is kind of a relief, actually. I'm going to drop this thing, you know, a foot when we go through here the next time. Maybe I'll reuse that sleeve, I don't know. Once you're down there, you know, 2.5 or 3 feet, bedded in sand, I'm not sure we're gonna need that sort of a tough conduit, but we may. I think Phil would like it. And if Phil likes it, probably it's a thing to do. Well, it's been 180 feet from here back around to the other side of the house at 2%. I've overdug all of it because it's hard for me to run a good grade. But once I tie these two corners together, these two lines into that corner, we're going to be ready to fine grade, drop the pipe in there, and get ready to hook this house to the city sewer at long last. There's only been 2 pieces of bad luck so far in the last week I've been digging on this. First, a big rainstorm. Second, there's a big old chunk of concrete right there in the corner of these 2 ditches, well up into the grade. I can't break it, I can't remove it, I've got to try to dig around it. So I'm going to cut the corner off there. Maybe it'll cost me an extra fitting or 2. I don't know how far I'm going to have to go, but fingers crossed. I would guess somebody washed out a truck here. I felt it over in the corner over there. I'm hoping I can cut across and miss it right here. My parents' old house was built in 1924. I don't know the name of the builder, but I can see 3 or 4 other houses around Roseburg that have his fingerprints, right? A craftsman motif. And in 1968, this highway that's so noisy right behind me was widened from 2 lanes to 4 lanes. And we have been told that it was at that point that this house was moved back 60 feet. And I think that this concrete that I just ran into was not a washout lump from a truck, because they mixed them on site by hand. But I think it was part of the old foundation wall. This was formed. And there's a corner or something. So I don't know, but there's a nice straight line. Perhaps a bit of a retaining wall. But I'll tell you what, I'm glad that it didn't go out any further, because we were able to make 2, I think, 45s or 45-ish bends that will come around and maybe be connectable over there, we hope. Anyway, the heavy digging is done, at least on the main trench, and we only have, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks left of pretty diligent underground work, keeping our fingers crossed. This is a big deal. Don't ever let anybody tell you that time or water will sufficiently compact soil. If you want your subgrade to be really hard, it's just got to be mechanically compacted. Well, I took care of other things all morning because it was pouring rain, but I finally came out to dig some trench that didn't require any handwork until I got up to the gas line crossing. And there it is. Now, you're not supposed to dig within 2 feet of what they mark with power tools, but I just couldn't shovel down through that road base. And besides that, a butter bar on a bucket makes it possible to ease in there and just scrape away 1/4 inch at a time. Looks like we dodged the bullet if I don't mess it up now that I can see it. Well, humble pie. I just had a little bad luck brought on by bad judgment. Maybe I could have dug a little more by hand and I didn't. So I broke that line. I've called Vista Gas. They're dispatching people. They told me not to secure it. Too late, I secured it. So we'll see what kind of a rabbit they pull out of the hat and how much it costs me. Well, called in Vista, their service line. They sent out 2 guys who knew exactly what they were doing. They reprimanded me appropriately for pinching the line off. Apparently static electricity can develop at the friction in pinching it off like that, and you know, fire. But anyway, it's fixed. I don't know what it'll cost. It certainly cost me a fair amount of my pride, which is a wonderful thing to have torn away from one from time to time. But anyhow, back to it. I've got a little daylight left. The rain has started, and we'll see if I can get these ditches tied in before it gets dark. Now, as you can probably tell, this job became a little daunting after about 4 weeks by myself, dodging rainstorms, digging dirt, running grade, gluing pipes. Now, I've had a lot of good examples in my life of relentless, steady perseverance and just continuing to show up no matter what. I've known people that have done that, and it's been a pleasure to, be acquainted with them and learn from them. And they've helped me learn that sometimes you've just got to put your head down and just keep thrashing. So young men, if you learn to recognize those examples in your neighborhood, in your life, wherever they are, or if you can find some and you watch them, you will be able to just keep on keeping on too. Thank you for watching Essential Craftsman, and keep up the good work.